One man is dead tonight after being struck by a vehicle near 25th and Central Avenue. Shortly before 8 p.m., an adult male from the Billings area was crossing the street when he was hit by a car that was headed westbound. The man was unresponsive when emergency personnel arrived on scene. Firefighters and paramedics attempted CPR before pronouncing the victim dead on scene. The male was wearing dark clothing and not crossing at a designated crosswalk. Crash investigators are on scene, and the westbound lanes between 24th and 25th Central will remain closed for the next few hours. Drugs and alcohol are not suspected factors in the accident. The identity of the man has not yet been released. A family heading through Billings toward Ekalaka Thanksgiving Day made it just 6 miles outside of town. Authorities have confirmed a North Dakota man, woman, and 2 children died in a crash near Huntley Friday morning. According to Carter County Sheriff Neil Kittlesman, the Dean family from Manville, North Dakota perished in the crash. Troopers say the crash happened on Thursday at 7 a.m. and the call came in at 8 p.m. on Friday. That's 37 hours after the accident. MHP reported that a Toyota 4Runner was heading east on Interstate 90 near the Huntley Project exit on Thursday at 7 a.m. The car went into the median under the interstate bridges, down an embankment, hit one of the supporting bridge concrete pillars, and ended up in Pryor Creek. The Highway Patrol says a 25-year-old man, a 25-year-old woman, a 5-year-old girl, and a 1-year-old girl died in the crash. Anthony and Chelsea Dean and their children were coming from Caldwell, Idaho to Ekalaka to spend Thanksgiving with Chelsea's grandmother. Speed is a factor and the road conditions are unknown. The sheriff says Anthony was in the U.S. Air Force, and according to Grand Forks Herald, Chelsea K. Dean was a member of the Manville, North Dakota Volunteer Fire Department. In national news, under a new proposal, thousands of migrants seeking asylum in the United States will have to stay in Mexico while their cases are processed in U.S. courts. Weijia Zhang has more on this from the president's winter White House in Florida.
CBS News has learned Mexico's incoming government has discussed plans with the Trump administration to have Mexico essentially serve as a waiting room for migrants seeking asylum in the U.S.
And we're not letting people in. It's called catch and detain. It's not called catch and release like it has been for many years.
President Trump has long criticized what he calls catch and release, current asylum rules that allow people seeking refuge to wait on American soil. According to the Washington Post, officials are still working out details of the proposed deal named Remain in Mexico, but some Mexican officials will likely fight the agreement. Just this week, the mayor of Tijuana declared we are in a humanitarian crisis as some 5,000 migrants, part of a caravan, arrived to his city.
They're going crazy to get them out. They want them out because things are happening. Bad things are happening in Tijuana. And again, it's not in this country because we've closed it up.
The president has threatened to shut down the border if chaos unfolds when they reach the U.S. and has authorized troops to use lethal force to control the crowds. Mexico's new president will be sworn in on December 1st, and this asylum plan would be implemented under his leadership. The White House is not confirming or denying a deal is in the works, but said President Trump has developed a strong relationship with the incoming administration. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
And joined here now with meteorologist Connor Pregitzer. With Thanksgiving behind us, it's officially holiday season. What can people expect on the calendar in the next coming weeks?
You know, the calendar is telling us that it's time for winter. However, the weather is cooperating. I know you're excited for holiday season. I am too. And the weather should keep us feeling good as we look at the 6 to 10 day outlooks from the CPC here. This map would suggest that it's wet all across the country, but as we play it forward here and get in a little bit closer to the Billings, to the Montana area, we can see that we're really only in the 10 to 20% chance for above normal precipitation, so almost right on average. As we go to the temperature side of things, we're also in that gray, which is right on average. So things are looking fairly seasonal and pleasant. And the temperature outlook for this week in my forecast is falling into this pattern as well. So it's a nice time to be out there hanging lights, getting a tree out amongst the shops. So the holiday season is here and the weather should keep us in that holiday spirit. I'll break down this week's forecast in just a little bit.
Thanks, Connor. Well, during the holiday season, the Toys for Tots program relies on volunteers and community support. Today, another local business hosted a toy drive. Brett's RV parked one of its camper trailers outside the Rendezvous Casino and Burger Grill on King Avenue West. The plan is to fill the trailer completely. This is one of several events for the U.S. Marine Corps Toys for Tots toy program. The program will bring Christmas presents to 4,000 children, and it's always a special time for Marines.
I love this time of year. One, because it hits close to me, because as a child I received toys from Toys for Tots, and this kind of helps me give back for the Toys for Tots program helping me as a child, and it's just another way to pay it forward. This program would not be able to run if it wasn't for the amount of support that the public gives us. So I just want to tell them thank you.
The U.S. Marine Corps has drop-off centers at several locations. You can find those locations at billings-mt.toysfortot.org. Well, it's Small Business Saturday here in the Magic City. The Billings Chamber of Commerce wants you to shop local, and they are providing you a fun way to do it. Today, through this community, coming Tuesday, November 27th, the Billings Chamber is partnering with 38 small businesses in town to give out prizes for people who take the time to shop local. Here's how it works. You find a copy of the game board you see here on the Chamber's website and take it to 10 of the 38 businesses listed. Get the board signed by every business you see and leave the game board with the merchant on your 10th stop. The Chamber comes by and picks up the boards, and you will be entered to win prizes worth up to $500 each. And again, the Small Business Saturday game goes through Tuesday. MTN's Medeiros Babb talked with shop owners today in downtown Bozeman for Small Business Saturday, who say even though business isn't always easy, it's definitely worth it.
We have to challenge ourselves, and I think that this is a great place to start.
Noelle McGree is typically known through the store she owns with her sister in Butte, Twisted Sisters. Moving forward, she will be spending a lot more time at the new boutique in downtown Bozeman. The expansion of her and her sister's store comes due to the opportunity they saw in the heart of an ever-growing city. The move is exciting and new, but also nerve-wracking, something McGree says is constant as a small business owner.
Lots of sacrifices, lots of grit, lots of resilience. You have to be able to take the good with the bad and, get out of bed every day and do it.
There are 23 million small businesses throughout the country, of which 8 million jobs have been created since 1990. Owner of Alara Jewelry, Babs Noel, says even though small business brings in a lot of cash flow for the local economy, often it can be hard to survive because of the lack of financial backing.
There's a lot of different reasons why having a small business is challenging from the beginning, but it's still challenging after a long period of time, too.
But with the sacrifice comes the comfort of getting to know the community.
I love that we are able to form relationships with people. That's the most important part. They come in here to see what we have for them, and just that personal touch is worth it to me.
In Bozeman, Medeiros Babb, MTN News.
Thanks, Medeiros. And she says, according to Small Business Administration, small businesses were responsible for 64% of new jobs created from 1993 to 2011. Well, still to come here tonight on the 10 o'clock news, new research shows a dog's sense of smell could become a powerful weapon in the battle against malaria. Find out how after the break. And later in sports, the Cats are still rolling. See how they got their first playoff win since 2012 and find out who's next.
You're watching MTN News with Zoe Zandora, Storm Tracker weather with Connor Pregetzer, and sports with Casey Conlon. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.